Good, good. Thank you. Now we are live in Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And I'm very excited today because I have a very special guest, Charles Park, broker manager from Remax Realty Services. Um, for those ones who don't know him, he is the guru of real estate. And I know a lot of people in this industry, but I will say that he's the one that has the most knowledge. And the reason why I say that is because he's not only involved in with real estate agents, he's also involved with government and area and treb, and he's everywhere. So take all the knowledge that he has. And if you are thinking to make a move or something, you want to make a educated decision, and he's going to give us all the details of what's going to happen in the next 6 to 1 year. And also he's gonna tell us like what is happening right now, which is amazing. What happened in the market of October 2022. So please, Charles.
Karla, thank you for having me on. It is good to see you again. Let me start off by really qualifying where I'm coming from. As you know, I just recently transferred brokerages, so I am in the Brampton region now. So I've been spending the last week doing the research, specifically in Peel region and specifically in Brampton, which is where my new office is. And I've been noticing a lot of interesting trends that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. But first and foremost, let me share my screen because, right hot off the press, Treb has published their October statistics. So we're going to switch right into that PDF file. Hopefully I have it open. Let's see if I can you guys, oops, I lost you already.
I don't see you, but if you want,
Can,
I can.
can you see this?
Yes, I can
Okay,
see it
great.
right here.
So I'm going to move this down just a little bit. So this is the October 2022 Market Watch report that was just released this morning. And as you can see on the right-hand side, transactions are down significantly from last year. So as you can see, we keep comparing last year to this year. So October 2021, we had 9,743 transactions. And as you scroll to the left, you can see that only 4,961 transactions were recorded on the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board's MLS system this past month. But you know what? That's a decline of 49.1%. And for those of you who follow the news and listen to the headlines, I'm sure you saw that number being broadcast everywhere. It was all over the news. But you know what? What does it really mean? It means that, okay, we are basically at almost 2018 volumes. So if you go
Okay.
back to 2018, a 5,000, if you were selling 5,000 homes in a calendar month in 2018, that was a normal market. So I don't know why people are, panicking somewhat that the transactions are down. Obviously, we had, a remarkable year last year. It is one for the record books, but to continue to compare yourself to record-breaking, markets, it's just unreasonable. And to think that that kind of market could have sustained itself over a long period of time would have been very naive. So looking further down, the average price in 2021 was $1,155,000, and as you can see, there's been a subtle, settling of prices. We've seen that right across the board. So now we got to be really careful with average price with these statistics, because when you're using overall average prices, it could mean a lot of things. I spoke to a deputy chief economist a couple of days ago who cautioned us and said, mean average prices can mean lots of things. The biggest worry that they have is that you're comparing various asset classes. You could be comparing, condos to luxury, homes, which is not a fair comparison. So where you see a big uptick in condominiums and a downtick in luxury homes, which we've seen in the past, it does skew the average price considerably. So let's take that with a grain of salt. I think a 1.1 average price right across the entire system is fairly reasonable. Now, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner of what I'm looking at here, there is also the number of sales, new listings. This is a key indicator as to how the market is doing. We saw an uptick in new listings in the last little while. The
Okay.
percentage of new listings that were hitting the market versus what was being sold is really the real news story. So we're looking at average days on market exceeding 30 days now. Now, if you just to qualify what these acronyms mean, LDOM in the bottom right hand corner means listing days on market. PDOM means property days on market. So when people are canceling and relisting the same property on our MLS system, what the PDOM gives a more accurate picture as to how long that particular property has been on the market rather than a single MLS number. So
Oh, that's nice that they are able to track both, because
yeah,
it does throw out a little, like a lot, the numbers when you only take
absolutely, absolutely.
into
So
consideration the other one.
we use technology to track that, and now we can we can get a more realistic picture as to how long properties. And as you can see in 2021, the property days on market was only 18 days. We're over a month now. That's an 83.3% increase. So give it what you want. It should be expected. Now, what's causing all this? And Karla, you know the answer to this question. We have artificially created our own real estate recession. The government has. The Bank of Canada has raised interest rate 6 times in the last year. The they're
3.25.
it. You know what? When the last time they did this was in the late 80s, early 90s. So they artificially created a recession. Why? To curtail the inflation. Now,
Exactly.
is it healthy? You know what? It truly is like that cough syrup that you need to take when you get sick. You have to, bear with the bad taste for a little while in order for things to get better. Now, let's look over to the left a little bit. The different asset classes is really what I want to focus on. And there is one key statistic here that I think your viewers should really pay attention to. And that really is at the bottom where it says condo apartment. You see where it says year over year percentage change. And it goes through the 416, 905, right? But if you look at the
Mhm.
average price of condominiums in the past month, there's been a 0% change in average price in the 416 year over
Wow.
year. What a
Wow.
remarkable revelation. Okay, so what is holding up prices? The condominium market. The question is why?
I think
Affordability.
affordability, exactly, is the only
Okay.
time, is the only way to really enter into the market for a lot of first-time home buyers, for example.
Exactly, exactly. We're also looking at very little to no change in townhouses, 2.2%. So there is an affordability crisis occurring in the Greater Toronto area, but the demand to buy real estate remains high. And we can see that
Yes.
is evident. Now, obviously, the biggest change in year over year is in the detached and semi-detached markets. Let's call and that lumps in the luxury market as well. So I think the biggest gains that are to be made, and this is where I want to speak to your audience. For those of you who currently own a condominium, if you're thinking about getting in to the semi or detached market, you've just shortened the jump between
Yes.
where you are right now and where you want to be. So I get this question asked of me all the time. Charles, when is the best time to buy? If you're a current condominium owner and you're looking to make a change, right? You need to pay close attention to how close the jump to that home that you want is going to get. And I think now is the right time. Now, I mentioned this on the last call that we had. There are those people who live in the peaks and valleys of markets. Those are the short-term minded people. And if you live in the peaks and valleys of an up and downswing market, you risk making quick gains, also risk making quick losses. But
Mhm.
in the long term, if you want to make an educated investment, real estate over the last 27 years that I've been in this industry has always proven time and time again to be appreciative over the long term.
Yes, and I will say, I mean, I haven't been 27 years, but I remember when I came to Canada, and they were always talking about, oh, this is gonna collapse, this is gonna collapse, this is gonna collapse, this is just a time machine. And here we are, 15 years later, and nothing. Well, I mean, there has been corrections, yes. We have the correction in 2008, then in 2017, and now in 2022. But it's been always just corrections. It's not like suddenly a house is gonna cost, 1 million, from 1 million to $200,000. We wish, but I don't think that is ever gonna be
So you
the
bring up a
case.
very good perspective. Existing homeowners, do you think that they're willing, right, to give away their homes? Absolutely not. If you're a homeowner right now, there's absolutely no way that you'd be in a situation where you're like, you know what, I'm just going to give my house away. That's
Because
just,
I'm gonna buy it for cheaper afterwards.
yeah, exactly. And people often, I get this comment all the time going, "Oh, it's going to go down. It's going to go down." Well, you know what? It's already gone down. And you know what? We artificially created this downturn in the market. But there's opportunity everywhere. What
Yes,
is not necessarily good for one individual may be good for another. So for those
exactly.
people who knew, I'm not, some people did crystallize the gain at the peak of the market, and I have clients who sold, back in February, and they sold for maximum dollar. Good for them, but they did buy in the same market. So
Mhm.
realistically, was there a crystallization? Not really. That's going to bring me to my next point. So I was
Okay.
privileged to be sent a questionnaire from Remax Canada, and they actually asked me to do some research on the market that my offices are in the Brampton area. And here's a shocking statistic: Brampton is bucking the trend. In 2021, the average price was 1,023,582 over all asset classes. We are sitting in 2022 October, 1 year later, exactly 1 year later. You would have expected the average prices to have gone down. No, they've actually 16% higher. We're averaging
Wow.
1,187,358. What a remarkable statistic. We are still ahead of October 2021 in the Brampton region. The question is
Wow.
why?
I would say
Affordability.
just the demand.
Demand and affordability. I
Yes.
recently attended a TerraNet seminar where Benjamin Tull, the chief economist for CIBC, was one of the speakers. And he had mentioned there are two gateway communities in the Greater Toronto area here in Canada. One is Brampton and the other is Scarborough. Let's talk about immigration for 1 second. There are over 525,000 immigrants expected to come to Canada in the coming year. And where are they coming? Ironically, they're not landing in the 416 unless you're
Really?
the East 416. They are going to Scarborough because of affordability, but Brampton is bucking the trend. It is unbelievable. When I looked at this statistic, I went, good for them. The number of transactions are down 43%, but they're holding on to average price. Now, if you go historically back a little bit further, if you look at 2020, sorry, the first quarter, at the peak of the market in Brampton, The mean average was $1,337,000. In the second quarter, it went down to $1,258,000, and to summarize the third quarter, just around 1.2 million. Yes, there has been a slide. Everyone has experienced a slide, but
Yes.
some markets have experienced a greater slide than others.
I
So
would say still the GTA is a little bit more protected in a way because it's closer to the city, and why not? I guess like if you're going a little bit farther than the GTA is where you can see a little bit more of the decline in prices. Will you say that, Charles?
I will say that, and I will also share the sentiments of some chief economists and deputy chief economists who I've recently spoken to. I think prices will further decline in certain markets. The question is which markets. So we can't paint the entire geography with the same brush. There are
Yes.
certain markets that are going to buck the trend, and I've definitely found I exist in one of them. If now, I'm not sure if your listeners have access to you, Karla. I've shared with you these market statistics in PDF format. For those of you who follow Karla, I highly suggest that you reach out to her, and so she can send you directly the statistics that we're talking about. But further, Remax Canada was actually asking me for a forecast, which is really where the direction that I wanted this call to go into. What do I think the market's going to do? I think we are plateauing. We are bottoming out. I don't think there may be a little bit, obviously, with the interest rate increase that we're expecting in December, there is a little bit further for prices to be suppressed, but not by much. And we've heard the Bank of Canada announce that, you know what, they're pretty much done with these
Yeah.
interest rate hikes. So we can all share that sentiment that, you know what, we're almost there. But what
We are
happens?
almost at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. And so the question is, do you buy now or do you wait? I think that you should take an opportunity because right now, if you qualify and you can lock in for interest rates at today's rate, not tomorrow's rate, yes, you're buying, and there may be a further decline in prices slightly, but not in all market areas. Maybe you should get in while you still have control and you still
Yes.
qualify to buy a home rather than
Yes.
wait for things to bottom out, come back on the upswing. Now, what are you involved in? You're back. Everyone last year was saying, when's this going to end? When's this going to end? Oh my gosh, multiple offers, 20, 30, 40 offers on a single property. I can't get my financing condition in. I can't get an inspection in. What do I
Yes.
do?
Yes.
Okay,
100%.
you wished for it. You got it. Now you can put in a financing condition. Now you can put in your inspection clause. Now you can lock in with the interest rate and be sure that you have a mortgage when you close.
And now you can actually buy what you want.
Because there's choice.
There is a choice there. Exactly. Once these start to get crazy, because let's be honest, yes, of course, and it's not that I don't sympathize with what is happening and why not, but definitely it is going to increase at some point. We don't know where the exact day, because if we knew when the really when where the bottom is gonna be, we will be sipping margaritas in Bahamas, right,
That's right.
Charles?
If we all had crystal balls, we wouldn't be working today.
Exactly, exactly. We have a question, Charles. How long do you think they will stay at the peak before they start going down?
So
Um,
what you mean bottoming out in prices? I think we're going to see prices bottom out sometime in the first quarter of 2023. I think by the second or third quarter of 2023, you will start seeing a rebound. So, take notes. Right now is the time to get in because when it bottoms out, yeah, you may be a little bit disappointed that you got in a little bit early, but you got in, you got control, you got the interest rate that you needed because that sometimes plays more so than other things.
yes, and honestly, like actually today, I got an email that the last rates that are like the lowest rates in the market at this point, which is the fixed rate at 4.84%. is going up to 5.19. So it is happening. It is happening. This rate actually, like they stick to this rate for a few more weeks. It was actually meant to go up about 3 weeks ago, but they stuck to that rate. But now they actually announced that, and I don't know, Charles. Like one of my really good friends was asking me, like, when do you think it's a good time? And I said, like, you know what, exactly what you said. But what do you think about the Christmas market?
The Christmas market in regards to housing,
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be we previously talked about trigger rates. I think that consumer confidence is down. I think that we're going to be experiencing more modest consumer spending during the Christmas time. And for those people who are actually trying to save and be responsible, their down payment, or trying to increase their down payment for a home, I think they're also thinking, you know what, now that I have to pay a lot more in interest and I have to pay a higher monthly payment, I really need to knock down that principal as quickly as possible, or as early as possible. So we are going to see an overall market slowdown in the Christmas season. There are early indicators that are already out saying that this is already starting off to be a pretty slow Christmas season. So, you know what? It all depends on your personal situation, on whether or not you think that the market's going to dictate what you need to do for you and your family. But on the real estate side of things, I think that if you have the capability, right, to lock in today, today is the time to do it. I actually have a question for you, Karla, because
Yeah.
one of the questions I couldn't answer in the questionnaire was the demographical mix. Where do you find people like first-time home buyers, or people that are upsizing, downsizing? What has changed in the on the mortgage approval side? What is the mix that you're seeing?
So I will say, like, my number one referral sources are still my clients. I work a lot of like, word of mouth, and my second one is, I will say, real estate agents, and my third one, I will say, is my community. Um, as everybody knows, I am
Right.
from Mexico and I speak Spanish. So the Spanish community, I will say, is my number three.
So your
Yes.
number one sounds like there are a lot of people making either lateral moves because they're already existing
Um,
homeowners.
yes, yes, and my number one referral source, it will be through them. So I get a lot of business from my existing clients, and also my clients referring me other clients. But I will say, for first time home buyers specifically, I will say it will be more the community and the real estate agents.
I think we're going to get back to where people will be more confident in purchasing prior to selling in the next year, in the second half of 2023. We just have to weather the storm. I think the next 6 months is purely an exercise in trying to kill inflation. And until inflation numbers are down, we're not going to see a lot of cooperation from the government and the Bank of Canada in regards to interest rates. Now, as quickly as interest rates went up, some have commented, right, they could come back down to re-stimulate the economy if need be. It is the only control mechanism that the Bank of Canada and the government has to fight inflation. The other is supply chain issues. Now, I've commented a lot about how there's a short supply of homes, and the builders are not helping us. I've heard of builders canceling 50% of their projects because they control the pre-construction market. So they're not helping us with inventory at this very moment.
And Charles, why do you think that will be the number one problem? Why these builders are canceling these projects, in your
Well,
opinion?
I've often referred to the builders as like OPEC in regards to energy, right? If you control the flow, you can control the price. So
Yes.
if you can control the inventory, you can control the price. It's in their best interest that prices remain high because they've sold several
That's why
projects.
I love to talk to Charles. He's always you always have a different perspective, and I really love that perspective. Wow, thank you for sharing that.
And for those of you who are thinking about buying pre-construction, I actually spoke to someone who does construction financing for all the big builders right across Canada. And the incentives that builders are offering today, you may not ever see again. Deposit structures,
Wow.
prices, free parking spots, free lockers. There's a builder out there giving up free Rolex watches. You will not see these incentives ever again.
Ever again, eh? And you know what? It's actually funny that you mentioned because one of my friends got a condo in Vaughan. He got asked if he wanted a locker, and then suddenly they said, "Oh, okay, we throw an additional one to you, no problem." And he was just like, "Wow, they give me, two for the price of one." So now I know why. Wow, that's incredible.
So if you guys are looking at buying pre-construction, once again, now is the time.
Is the time. Do you have or do you know if their sales are down at the moment
Yes,
compared
they
to?
are, which is why they're
Okay,
offering the incentives. But you know what? They've already committed a lot of these projects that have already broken ground and need to be built. And you need to keep your workers employed. But once the market turns around again, even though they're going to be launching new projects in the near future, all the incentives will be taken off the table.
wow, wow. Is there any particular project that you will suggest at the moment, or um, you just say like just do the research type
I'm
of
personally
thing?
not a pre-construction person myself, but I recently heard a presentation. I know that the Lakelands developments down in South Mississauga are gaining tremendous amount of activity. I think they're going for $1,400 per square foot. It seems like a premium right now, but you know what? Judging by what I've heard, you think prices are bad now? You just wait.
Wow.
It's going to go up.
Yes. 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 100%. 100%.
So
Wow, Charles. This.
I I'm not sure of the demographic mix of your listeners, but it's interesting to me for people who are paying attention and are students of the market and speaking to so many people that do exactly what I do. We all seem to be having the same consensus. So how can all of us be wrong? So
Yes.
prices will continue to slide. Now, I'm not going to dispute that. However, when will it bottom out? It's not going to be long. So the question is, do you get in now or do you wait and do you start competing with other people in the near future? That's a question you really need to answer. And for
Yes.
and for sellers, depending on the market that you're in, yes, you've taken a little bit of a hit, but you're also buying preferably in the same market. So you're really not losing anything at all.
Yes, and like yeah, as you say, if they sell after once they get more equity, or why not? At the end of the day, they are gonna buy higher as well. So it evens out 100%, unless they buy right now and then they sell like 2 months later or next year or something like that. But at the same time, how many people can really afford to have two mortgages? And let's remember that you will need a bridge loan, and the bridge loan, it cannot be more than 90 days. So there are so many things that definitely you need to think when you're buying and selling at the same time, and when you are you know buying first and then selling after. Yes, definitely, it's all an strategy for sure.
And with low inventory, I can't see this market, tanking as a lot of people predicted. We have so many people coming to our city, and we need to put them somewhere. We haven't even gotten into the investment side of things. Rents are going through the roof. There are not enough rentals out there. We don't know where to put new Canadians. It's an ongoing battle, and if you've got your boots on the ground, I commend you for helping out these families in trying to find their forever homes. So to all my real estate colleagues out there, I'm in the fight with you guys. Okay. I really wish you well, but believe you me, the end is near to this artificially created recession. Lies on it.
Yeah, no, thank you, Charles, for all the insights. It's always great to hear your opinion, and all your analysis in general is always really, really outstanding. Thank you so much. Thank you for
You're very
accepting this
welcome.
invitation. And yes, please, if you can share next 2 months, I will truly appreciate it. I know that
I will
everybody's
try.
gonna be looking for that. Well, if you have
Okay.
time in your tight agenda, I know this guy. It was is really busy all the time. I know that because it's he's a very hardworking guy.
I like to do my
Charles,
homework,
thank
Karla, and
you.
I'm more than happy to share it with you and your listeners.
Thank you. Thank you. So for those ones who came a little bit later, this is going to be posted on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For those ones who want to enroll to my newsletter, we're going to be sharing it there as well. So just let me know, and we will make sure that you get it. And for the Instagram people, I just want to tell you that there was some graphics, so you can always go to my YouTube or my Facebook, and you can see them there. And actually, Charles, there was a comment from Elizabeth Correa. Thank you so much for watching us, Elizabeth. She said offer days are still on because the low inventory. Insane. Yesterday, 24 offers in Ajax. Wow.
I've actually heard similar stories happening all over the GTA. When you have a good house that's properly priced, expect multiple offers.
Yes, yes, and honestly, like this comment coming from Elisa and this comment coming from Charles, these guys are active. These guys, whenever you are choosing your real estate agent, you need to make sure that they are busy and they know what's going on in the market, because the market changes by the minute. And if you are not choosing the right person to take this task for you, honestly, you are going to be missing out on opportunities. So do your research on this person, make sure that they do transactions and they know what's going on in the local market that you are actually buying. As Charles says, not every single market can be assessed at the same form. So you need to make sure that you speak to the right agent. Okay. And we have another great comment, great information. So thank you so much, Charles. I really appreciate it.
My
And
pleasure.
and I hope we can have you back on November. Let's talk afterwards.
Let's talk later. All right.
Thank you so much, Charles. Have a really good night. Thank
You too.
you.
Bye bye now.
Thank you.